So I wanted to just share my story briefly about my journey inside triathlon, because it's been, it's been a best friend to me for 23 years. But I definitely have had my share of struggles. So in 1997, I did my first triathlon with a group of friends. I wore my string bikini. I borrowed a friend's bike. I had no idea what I was doing. And I was in heaven when I crossed the finish line. I was like, this is amazing. I trained for like a couple weeks leading up to the race. I ended up getting on the podium. I got a 3rd place in my first race. And that was just a great confidence booster. Like, I was 27 years old. I was studying to get my master's at UM in exercise physiology. I was partying a lot, and it completely shifted my life to this healthier lifestyle, right? And I didn't even mean for it to happen, right? It just kind of happened. I was doing mountain bike races before the triathlon, and then I fell in love with triathlon. And for the next pretty much 10 years, I didn't stop, right? I became a coach. I became one of the first 60 USA Triathlon certified coaches in the country in 1999. I fell in love with a guy who was a triathlon coach. And so we came together and we created a triathlon business, and we did triathlon nonstop. It was our lifestyle, right? I loved it. Never felt healthier. It was just so wonderful to me to have this in my life, right? And then in 2006, I had my daughter. And she, I trained pretty much till 6 months pregnant. And then I stopped training. And then the year after she was born, I came back to the sport pretty competitively. I was missing racing, as a part of my life. So when I started training back again, I basically just drove myself into the ground, and it was not pretty. I was getting less than 5 hours of sleep a night. I was breastfeeding my daughter. I was working full time. And I was eating the diet that I had been taught about in school. As endurance athletes, we're supposed to be eating 70% of our nutrition from carbohydrates, right? That's what I was taught. And that's what I did. Even though all my nutrition was organic, it just really turned out not to be the right combination for me. So anyway, so I got severe adrenal fatigue. I was sick, like in bed for 6 months straight with serious flu-like symptoms. I was depressed. I was super jealous of all my friends and my family who were out there racing and enjoying triathlon, and I couldn't even make it through through a yoga class. I was so fatigued, and adrenal fatigue is big time. If you keep driving yourself when you have adrenal fatigue, it can get worse and worse and worse, and you can actually not recover from it. So I took some time off of triathlon, and I just thought my triathlon career was over. I mean, I barely, I had my little daughter, so she was my everything, and I hardly had any energy for her. So I knew something had to change. And I really didn't know what to do, because I went to the doctors and they wanted to put me on hormones, and I wasn't willing to go that route, the medical route. I knew there had to be a better way somehow, like internally and instinctually, I knew this, right? So in January, after I had gotten sick in August, so it's like a 6 months process, I found a course from the Czech Institute with Paul Czech, and they had it in Fort Lauderdale. So I went to take the course, and I realized the first day of the course that it was meant to heal me. Everything I learned at that course was life-changing, completely life-changing. It healed me. It took me 8 months to come back 100%, but I didn't realize what I didn't know about my own personal health and how I could figure that out. And I realized how important it was, if I was going to continue in triathlon, to include these holistic lifestyle principles that I had learned. And from that point on, I decided to include them in my triathlon coaching, right? And so that's how full circle coaching came to be. Like I said, it took me 18 months to dig myself out of that hole. And it wasn't pretty. I was, battling depression because of inactivity. I did have to take, I was getting sick all the time. So I was on antibiotics quite a few times to get over these colds and these flus, but I didn't really know that those were actually making my immune system worse. So I really dug into the holistic lifestyle, and I healed myself with food and supplements, essential oils, homeopathics. I also did, blood work a few times, which really helped me know my cholesterol was ridiculously low at 120, which is not healthy. Honestly, your cholesterol is supposed to be closer to 200. Even a little bit over 200 is totally fine. And you can research that on your own if you don't believe me. There's a great book called The Cholesterol Hoax by Dr. Jimmy Moore. But cholesterol is required for every single function in your brain, right? So if you're eating a low-fat diet, you probably have a lot of brain fog, and that's what I did. I was eating low-fat and high carbohydrate. Like I said, everything was organic, but I had cereal for breakfast and for dessert every single day. I had a few organic pizzas, whole wheat pizzas, a couple times a week, and I was just eating tons of pasta, whole wheat pasta, and tons of carbohydrates, because that's what I thought I needed to fuel myself. But little did I know that my individual, body type and my metabolic foundation was not about carbohydrates. It's more about fat and protein, but it's not keto. So this is not keto. This was 2006, so keto wasn't even a thing. This is just about eating real food in a proper combination for me personally. So I added more fat, more protein into my diet. I got rid of all my refined sugar. So that means processed, like breads, pastas, cereal. Cereal is nutrient dead. There is no nutrients in cereal. And don't fool yourself that granola is healthier, because look at the ingredients, it's all sugar. So there are some healthier granolas, don't get me wrong, but they're made with nuts and fat and seeds. So, completely healed myself. Like I said, it took me a little while. And I just turned 50 and I'm almost at 300 triathlons. Never been healthier, feel amazing, injury-free, started running again. But it's because of all these tools that I have learned over my past 23 years that have helped me stay in the sport that I love. And so my why, I wanted to share my why. It's not about the competition, although I love to race. I just raced this weekend. I was super psyched, got second place in the aqua bike. So don't get me wrong, I love to race. I love the confidence it gives me. And I love the challenge it gets me, like just to get me out of my comfort zone and wake up early and challenge myself, right? Instead of just doing the grind every day with work and stuff like that, which I love my work, so it's not really a grind. But anyway, so my other part of it is just the lifestyle, right? So I mentioned that lifestyle, the lifestyle of just doing some kind of physical activity. And I happen to have that activity be swim, bike, and run outdoors in the beautiful climate of Miami. I feel so blessed. But it's also for me about you guys, right? Introducing new people to the sport of triathlon, and also helping the people that are in the sport of triathlon get better, stronger, faster, get more educated about the sports nutrition, which is really not healthy for you, right? Make better choices in regards to that sports nutrition. And then also learn to have balance, right? If you train all the time, there's gonna be a point where you drive yourself into the ground, just like I did. And that's not a fun place to be, right? So my why is that I just want to feel good on a daily basis. But for me, it's about balance, right? So training and working out and racing, but also chilling out, working, having fun, and not taking it so seriously all the time, right? So, I'm still competitive, still like to race, but for me, it's about being complete. And that's where the yin and yang comes into my logo. And that's why I put it there for Full Circle Coaching.